You know it's time to do it major. Here's to the hustlers, the movers and shakers. Get up on your grind, don't let the haters get ya. I know that you got a vision, now it's time to deliver. Yeah. Giving you the tools, helping you to grow. Level up, time to shine like you never did before. Let them know, more than a podcast, it's a mindset. You can do anything, you just gotta keep grinding. Let's go. The entrepreneur adventure. Hey, the entrepreneur adventure. You ready?
The biggest obstacle most business owners are struggling to navigate right now is staffing and freedom. If you're trying to grow your business, if you're trying to scale, if you're struggling to find time to get out of the weeds, this is the episode for you. I'm excited to welcome our guest, Brett Trembly, to the show. Welcome, Brett.
Here's an exercise that anybody can do who's listening. All right. There's a guy named Perry Marshall who wrote a book, 80-20 Sales and Marketing. One of the best business books I've ever read. I've listened to it. I've read it again. I buy more of his stuff. I mean, this guy, he basically, he makes arguments, which we make. So of course, that's why I like him so much. He argues that if you make more than $30 an hour, or you're paid more than $30 an hour, you should have a personal assistant, because there's things you're doing that you're not focusing on that time. So he has an exercise where he says, take a sheet of paper, draw a line right down the middle. You got two columns. On the left side, write down everything you do that you love doing. And that's going to be a very short list. On the right, write down it. You should have seen your face chart. Like, I'm doing this and I'm doing this and I'm blah. Write down everything you don't like doing. And that's what you delegate. You just get rid of it. And especially as a business owner, if you never take the time to think, it's called Think and Grow Rich, not Work and Grow Rich.
Ooh,
you know,
that's really good.
Yeah,
I like
that's a Brett original, because that one hit me one day. And I heard some other guys on the podcast, like, you ever met someone with two jobs? They never have money. Working harder is not the answer. As the business owner, you have to take time to think about what your business needs, where the holes are. Don't keep pouring water in the bucket. Fix the damn hole in the bucket, dear Liza. And then, you know, you can start to see the returns in your business, because you're having the focused thinking time on where to solve problems and inefficiencies. You got to learn how to continually delegate and elevate. And I have more sort of things that we tell our clients to do about coming up with more things to delegate, but that's a pretty easy one.
Man, you make it sound so simple, and it seems just so obvious. I love it.
And talking to Brett's like drinking from the fire hose, right, Chad? It really is, dude. But I mean that in like the best way possible, because I'm like, dude, you're bringing such rich content like so fast. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, where can we go with this episode? There's so many places I want to take this. But honestly, like, I really want to learn more about the Get Staffed Up from the standpoint of the product offering. So your target niche is, again, the one that you know the best, right? You're targeting law firms for virtual assistants for law firms, right?
Yeah.
And you said CPAs were second. So my question for you in regards to this, Brett, is that, do you already have, since you are targeting some specific niches, some kind of ready-made people from the standpoint of, look, this person can handle creating social media content for that? Are there specific niches within Get Staffed Up that you've brought people on, that these people are social media marketers and these people are traditional assistants? Or is it just, hey, we got people and they're good and we'll customize them, you know, you'll help customize them to fit your need?
Yeah, it's a little bit of both. So we don't have people just sitting around waiting for you to hire us. Someday we may get there, because our recruiting machine, the infrastructure that we've put in place is mind blowing. We're going to have 100,000 people apply to work with us this year all over the world. Now, trust me, we're not reviewing 100,000 resumes. We're not doing 100,000 interviews. We have systems where we weed out so many people, and we get rid of the people who aren't going to be fantastic, frankly. And so I got a dog scratching at my door, which is pretty rare. So anyway, what we do is we're constantly recruiting, but our sales still outpace how we can find great people. So traditionally what we've done is say, okay, you need more marketing help. Is that like general marketing help, or is it very specific? Do you need a full-time video editor? Because some of our clients need that, my law firm included. Do you need someone who's really good at content writing? Because that's harder to find. Do you need someone who's a really great graphic designer? Or do you need like more general, like newsletter help, social media posts, etc.? Because that's not quite as specific. Like you don't need a marketing degree to be good at some of the more administrative marketing tasks, right? So we're recruiting great people unless there's a very specific need. Maybe that's a bookkeeper. So yeah, that's got to be very specific. But for the most part, we're finding educated, motivated, like a lot of stay-at-home moms that just don't want the commute and they want to work from home. And a lot of just graduates. Our workforce tends to be very young. And again, it's not, we don't have a stable of people because they don't work for you part-time and then, okay, but this person can help you here. We're going to go find someone for you, right? So we would say, all right, Josh, here's your first profile. And we've already interviewed that person and we send you their interview on video. We send you their resume and their cover letter and you say, nah, let's move on next one. Or you say, great, thumbs up. So when we get a thumbs up, now you do the interview, right? So you're ultimately in charge of who you hire. You give us a second thumbs up. We create a start date. We have a client happiness liaison who stays on through the whole relationship to make sure things go smoothly. And, these are human beings. Do we have some turnover? Yes, a lot less than traditional businesses, and turnover is really hard on small businesses.
And let's be honest, man, it's hard finding somebody that be willing to work with Chad on a consistent basis. I mean, they quit.
I get that. I get that.
I know you've cleaned it up already, Brett.
True story. And the business Josh and I own together, we had somebody quit their first day because
it happens.
I thought I was being proactive. I went ahead and sent them their list of things to do for the first 6 months and email at 1 a.m. the night before. That was it.
Oh yeah, Chad's like, hey, I've already prepared. Like we already know what's going to be on your tombstone. Here's what it's going to say, and here's everything from that point to today. They're like,
probably did you a favor. Look, the right person would have been awesome. Look how organized. So let me make another comment real quick, Chad, because you mentioned being in a smaller town, and you mentioned Miami and progressive. So I would say, by the way, Miami is very split down the middle in terms of conservative and progressive. Okay. But I would also say that a lot of our clients, we're spread all over the United States. So this is not like a Miami-based thing. If you, and I know this for a fact, the minimum wage in Georgia is still like $5.16. Like it's lower than almost anywhere. I'm like, no wonder why all my attorney friends from Georgia, right? They'll grow a firm, they'll have some moderate success, and now they're in a mansion. Like, what the hell? It's crazy. A lot near you guys in Alpharetta.
You can buy houses for what y'all are charging for liquor drinks down there.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't believe it. So, but it's if you're paying someone in the US, right, $10 an hour, that person out of necessity, unless they're really old and bored or they're a student, they are constantly looking for a better opportunity, and they rightfully so, because you can't provide well for your family on $10 an hour.
Sure.
And so that's where the turnover comes from. So what we're saying is, let's keep the high paying jobs here because the cost of living is way higher. So you can grow, make more money, and then provide more higher paying jobs and have a nice mix of international versus domestic employees, right? A nice little staff, matrix there. And it's okay to take the entry level, but still very important positions. Some of your most important positions, is the person that answers the phone, because that's the first impression of your business, and your employees reflect your culture and your attitude. And the happier that person is who answers the phone, the better impression. So I wouldn't say it's a progressive versus non-mindset. I think it's oh my gosh, I didn't even know this existed. Like how is this possible? It's more a learning curve, like I wish I had been around when I was struggling, but it wasn't. And that's why I like to help people sort of have that aha moment and say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of things I'm not doing. It can all be done behind a computer. It'll help my business grow. And then maybe I can hire more people here.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's completely an education side of teaching business owners that this exists and learning how easy and profitable it can be. For me, that's a place of so much excitement right now as I am learning more and getting educated in this side of things. And I think you're definitely right there. And that's a big piece of getting to share with our audience. And I think it's going to be really eye-opening for a lot of our listeners and a lot of businesses. I know, again, what I am hearing over and over right now from my business owner clients, where I serve as a CFO role and I serve as a consultant role, is, man, we're really busy and the work is piling in, but we just can't find a good source of labor or a way to manage, or I'm up till 2 a.m. dealing with emails. And
Yeah.
this is a solution
Email.
that's easily implemented and affordable. And again, somewhat on faith, but not really, because everybody says it. Hey, trust me, do this. You will make more money. It will be a good return on investment. And I love that. And,
Yeah.
and also, one thing I'll mention too, so much respect for you and who you are in building this, because you've been here in the entrepreneur shoes. You have a law firm you started. You grew your firm by over 400%. You were in the weeds of the day to day and been able to experience and get out of that. And I think that's the dream. And so many people go into business thinking, I'm going to work for myself. I'll have all this freedom. It'll be so awesome, man. We're going to make a pile of money. And they work in their business for 20, 30, 40 years. They never have any freedom. They never have enough money. They never have any time. They have terrible relationships. They go through divorces. They're unhealthy. And this is a way to get out of that box or that rat race. And I love that.
100%. But the stress involved, like I still feel it. It was so stressful, and that cascades down into everything else in your life. You know, it's tough.